15 minutes. Start here in the front. Austin, go ahead.
Jim, from your perspective with Denzel's ejection, is there any, is that avoidable? Is that something you can work out? What did you make of that play there?
It's unfortunate. Understand the rules and trying to protect players. It's just have to keep your head up. You know, it's gray area. You know, just I think anything we can learn is keep your head up. You know, it's been something I think since football players put on helmets. You know, the natural tendency to kind of drop your head. I mean, I think that. That can eliminate a lot of errors and potential injuries. Is just see what you hit, keep your head up.
All right, we'll go to left field. Jared Smalley.
Hi, Jim. You can look in the stats after the game and see that Cody had 3 tackles and a sack, and those are the measurables. But can you explain the things that maybe we wouldn't see statistically that he can make such a difference for you with his experience, ability to get people lined up? Having been there a little bit, how valuable a commodity is he?
Yeah, Cody's the leader of the defense, the quarterback for the defense, conscientious young man, and bleeds Ohio State. I mean, there are, as you said, so many more things that he gives the team aside from statistics, and I think it just brings a general confidence to everyone when he's out there.
Go in the middle here, Tony Ferdinand.
Jim, having somebody like Jermaine Matthews, I think some people would call that a luxury. I think it's more of a necessity in today's game. I know you weren't concerned about him coming onto the field, but what did you think of his response? How did he stay? How did he stay ready? And then, do you agree that it's a necessity to have something like that?
Yeah, I mean, this is a long season. Strange things can happen, unfortunate things. So depth is critical. Yeah, Jermaine is in that area I've talked about before of guys who, might not be a starter, but in our mind, he's considered one. So you don't blink when he goes in. I mean, he's a guy who has proven to be able to compete in, the toughest games and situations. So he's kept himself prepared with a good attitude and, came in and did a good job.
We'll go here in the front, Dave Biddle.
I'm going to ask about a couple other young second-year backups, Arvell Reese and Caden McDonald. What are you seeing out of Arvell Reese and Caden McDonald, and do you see their roles continuing to grow this season?
Yes, on both. I mean, Arvell has made tremendous improvements since he's arrived here. You're seeing him play fast. He's got tremendous physical tools. So for a linebacker, it's just a matter of, knowing what to do and not having to think about it. So what you're seeing out of Arvell now is he's understanding where all the pieces go, and he's able to play fast without thinking. K-Mac has been doing a great job since he got here, even on scout team and giving our offense fits. So, we've been expecting him to have a breakout year, and he showed it last week. Made a lot of plays.
Stay in the front row, Bill Rabinowitz.
I asked a similar question of Ryan. I mean, you've given up 6 points, 2 long field goals. I don't think you've let anybody in the red zone. What's your top concern about this defense, if there is one at this point, other than just keep doing what you're doing?
Yeah, I see a lot of things formationally. I see things that maybe other people don't. So that's really my biggest concern, is just staying on top of things that maybe didn't show up in the game, but I saw the possibilities for, down the road, and how other people are going to scout us, and self-scouting, and, seeing what I called and how I can have the more change-ups available when we need them. But it's just trying to look at every play and seeing what we did, which for the most part has been good, and what are the other things that can come off of it? How are other teams going to look at us?
Second row, Steven?
A couple of weeks ago, when we were asking about safety depth, you talked about maybe there's a bit of a gap between obviously where Caleb and Lathan are as experience and two of the best guys in the country, and then where the guys behind them are. Getting Jalen and Malik on the field the last 2 weeks, are you seeing some promise that maybe some depth is starting to get built there?
Yes. I mean, both of those guys are coming along, and the more reps they get, they've been showing up and doing all the right things and playing hard and making the checks and making plays when their number's called. So the more reps we can get them, the better. Because like I said, football is it's a tough game, long season, and we need them.
Third row, Rob Oliver?
Jim, when we don't hear a guy's name up in the press box, is he not making plays? Is he doubled from your experience? Is it just the way the game's going? It's played out? What combination of all those things?
Yeah, I mean, it's so much happens in our game that most of us can't see, and you never know what the guy's assignment was, what he was taught, what he was trained to do. So it all comes down to the evaluation by the coaches, and we have those iPads now, so we're getting everything in real time. So you can really pretty much grade a player after every series. I mean, you can. So you can see what his value is to the defense based on the call, but whether his name gets called or not is really not important to us. It's more of how is he functioning in the scheme.
Go back to the front row, Joey Kaufman?
Jim, what have you seen from Tai Hamilton? He's made an impact, and just what's he doing there?
Yeah, I mean, he's been making an impact since I've been here, but he has developed into a dominant player. I mean, he's a guy that can control the interior of the line of scrimmage, and that's a big deal. I've always said when your defensive tackles make tackles, it allows you to do other things in coverage and how many people you commit down to the box. So Tai is quiet, but he's like a cold-blooded gentleman. I mean, he really is a force that I think is sometimes maybe difficult to see. But when you watch the tape, he is knocking people back and really just creating some difficult situations for the offense.
Go deep center field, Jeremy Birmingham?
Jim, when you're talking this week is improvement week, you guys obviously just had a shutout, 99 points and all that stuff. How do you guys get better? Where's the biggest area that you're thinking about heading into this extended time off?
Yeah, it comes down to fundamentals, one, right? All those things that in matchup games are going to be critical, whereas maybe we had a decided advantage in certain areas. But when I watch the tape, I can see how we have to, fix certain things or be on top of certain things, slight adjustments here or there. Because it'll be critical when you get to the matchup game. So, and then, it's all looking at what we did and how future offenses are going to view us and where I'm predicting that the attack will come from. So we try to stay ahead and work in those areas.
Go on the aisle here, Bill Landis?
Jim, with Arvell kind of making the push he seems to be making, and obviously Cody and Sonny at linebacker, are there any discussions about different ways for CJ to still impact things for the defense? I'm just wondering if he could potentially be more of a line of scrimmage guy than a linebacker.
We haven't discussed that because CJ is still developing very well, and he's considered very much a part of that mix. with those guys at linebacker. But, you know, I've said it before, it's always in the back of my mind because, you know, I think he has those gifts and tools to be able to do something like that. So it's nothing we've really discussed, but it's always there for me because I know it may come into play at some point.
What brings it to the front of your mind? I guess what would have to happen?
Well, I would have to, you know, you would have to maybe experience some depth issues in other places. You know, I mean, we're so talented on the edge right now and our depth is so good that it's not something that we need to do right now. But, you know, if something comes up, it's always a possibility.
Got time for 3 more. We'll go to Cameron T. Robinson.
Jim, kind of continuing on that, I think a lot of times this summer we thought of the linebackers, Sonny, Cody, and CJ. How much has Arbell's growth and ascension in that rotation helped you find different ways to rotate them and give you more freedom of what you can call now having 4 guys who seem like you can play?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it adds another guy. And Arvell, you know, like I said, his growth has really been fantastic. And he's gone through some lulls, you know, as a younger guy. You know, he's gone through some ups and downs, and it's like, you know, it's like a daily thing in practice. And now he's on a path of sustained production, and you see him kind of jumping off the film, playing fast. So that adds to our depth at that position, which is really important, particularly when you get into 3 linebacker looks. You know, it's an extra guy, and we need 4, we need 5. You know, I've really liked what Gabe has done in limited rep. You know, he's had limited reps, but he's really done a good job. So I'd like to see him starting to get into that mix. But Arvell has certainly helped us.
On the aisle, Spencer Holbrook.
Jim, how important is it this week, during the improvement week, to get red zone defensive reps against the offense when you guys haven't had those in a game?
Yeah, we do it all the time. Yeah, we do it all the time, and Coach Day puts that in constantly. We do it every week. You know, of course, we do it against the scouts when we're going against an opponent, but we do it against our offense too. You know, good on good, red zone pass stuff, and you know, regular red zone. We keep it in. You know, against good competition all the time.
And we'll wrap it up in the front. Tim May.
2 games in, what is the greatest luxury of the way Lathan Ransom and Caleb Downs are playing? Have they played up to the standards you expected? You understand what I'm saying? And where does it go from here, I guess, in that standpoint?
They have, and we just keep pushing. We got to push everybody, you know, striving for perfection. And, you know, those are 2 guys, you know, let's face it, we haven't had to unleash very much, so to speak. But you've seen on those specific examples, when we have unleashed them, you know, they go from A to B pretty quick, you know. So I think it's just a matter of continuing to push, putting some tweaks in, keeping their aggressiveness alive through the different calls. Like, we just haven't had to do it very much. But when it shows up, it's pretty cool.
And like you said, you hardly ever sleep, drink a lot of coffee, whatever. But is there any kind of comfort of having those? You explain the comfort level of having 2 guys like that on the backside of your defense.
Yeah, I think you just, I don't want to say take it for granted, but you don't sweat it. I mean, it's just, you know you can go in to those 2 and say, hey, this week we want to do it this way. And by the way, against this, I want you to make this call. Okay, ready, break. You know, and then you just, you know what I mean? You know, when you have to put in these slight adjustments week to week, it's not something you don't say, oh, man, can that guy handle that? You know, you just kind of roll. Okay, here's what we're going to do. And then, okay, got it, coach. And that's it. So it certainly makes it easier to make adjustments.
Thanks, Coach. Thank you.